It's getting frustrating trying to pull off a stream. If you heard the stream from earlier today, it sounded like I was on a phone call, man. Some of the strangest crap has been going on the last couple days here. Actually, since around June or July 20th, things have been going downhill here on the screw tube. Anyway, we're going to try to get into this. And just like every night, as soon as I unmute the mic, the stream goes red. Wow. All right, we'll keep on going. Before we get into all the stuff that we got screwed over on yesterday, I want to let everybody know it's still flooded in Nebraska. There's still missing farmers and all that jazz. Still flooded in parts of Missouri, Iowa. And this is coming from Senator Julia Salama. I don't know how to pronounce her name, but since flood updates don't make the headlines anymore, folks assume we're back in business as usual near the Missouri River. But she is here to give you a reality check. Southeast Nebraska is still flooded. Up until this week, the entire town of Peru is still dependent on bottled water. There is no firm estimate for the Highway 136 and Highway 159 Missouri River bridges to reopen. The water is still flowing over the roads. Thousands of bushels of soybeans caught fire weeks back in an elevator surrounded by floodwaters. And if you've never smelled soybeans burning before, you probably don't want to. So they're almost 6 months into this they call it a natural disaster. We know better. Our area's new normal is learning to live with the floodwaters that refuse to recede. There's endless uncertainty, but there's no one thing I know for sure: we will rebuild. And you can see the water still flowing over the highways. This is that highway when I took the film that was the highway to nowhere. And this is where it went. It's still flooded. Anybody remember the blue skies? Here's some before, during, and after photos of what they do to our blue skies without our consent. You ask who? Well, the U.S. Department of Agriculture. I had some other posts I wanted to show you, but I think we will wait on that. And let me see if I can find that real quick. I mean, we got all kinds of crazy news. We're going to get back into the Amazon fire. I went back and tried to listen to the video, and it took minutes out as a time. Like, anybody listening to the video from last night could not tell, but it missed minutes in between sentences of stuff I was talking about. Just crazy, man. Let me try to find what I was looking for. Okay, how about we've been talking a lot about the Texas weather modification and the U.S. Department of Agriculture. Well, here is the North American Weather Modification Council. Let's check out a couple of their brochures here. You got cloud seeding, the environment and climate. And if you look here, this is the people that are responsible for the weather engineering programs. You got the California Department of Water Resources, Colorado Water Conservation Board, the Desert Research Institute, the North Dakota Atmospheric Resource Board, Texas Department of Licensing and Regulations, the Utah Division of Water Resources, Wyoming Water Development Office, and then you got the Central Arizona Water Conservation District, Idaho Power Company, Metropolitan Water District of Southern California, North Dakota Weather Modification Association, Sandy Land Underground Water Conservation District, Santa Barbara County Water Agency. These are the people that are responsible for the cloud seeding operations. I'm really getting sick and tired of the trolls saying this stuff don't go on. It goes on every freaking day. It goes on by the government agencies. And all you gotta do is a little search and get to their website. They even talk about here warm weather seeding. They got cold weather seeding. It's going on every freaking day. You got hail suppression, rain enhancement, fog dispersion. So they even tell you how they do it, why they do it, and all that stuff. So all you trolls, kiss off. Suck a big one. You don't know what you're talking about. All right, so we're going to get back into this fire. And you know what it cut out last night on last night's video? It completely cut out the part where I talked about, you know, this is multifaceted. There was a bunch of tribe people that lived in the woods, and they had just won a lawsuit. And suddenly these fires started. I mean, everything is always multifaceted. And I think I have an article on that on here. But anyway, they ordered the world's largest air tanker to combat the Amazon fires. Thing won't be here till like Friday. But this thing, it's capable of flying with 115,000 liters of water, and that's equivalent to 100 regular air tankers. So this is like a mega chemtrail plane here, mega bombardment plane. Anyway, yeah, so what I was trying to say last night, it wasn't just we've seen the aerosols being deployed, we've seen the bunker fuel being deployed. The fires have been burning much longer than any one of these agencies are talking about. I went back and looked at the satellite data. And then what they did is the scientist who called out the government official, he got fired. So the Brazil has fired the head of government agency that found a steep rise in deforestation in the Amazon. And they were using satellite data. And then the president or whoever is running this operation, he apparently he doesn't believe the satellite data, like the worldview map. Like we can go back and see when the fire started. They started well over a month ago. So not only is the tribes being their land is being stolen, but they're also making way for gas and oil exploration. They're making room for farms. This is all, it's always multifaceted. It's to push the climate change agenda. You know, they're going to create, this is going to create some weather chaos. Like this is, you know, like the lungs of the planet. Not to mention, you know, we know that the plankton, some of that plankton and stuff in the ocean puts off a lot of the oxygen, but so do the trees. So it's a multifaceted attack. And then we got this going on in North Carolina. Unconventional warfare training being staged in 21 North Carolina counties, the Army says. This just came out yesterday. Known as the Robin Sage training, the unconventional warfare exercises are like live action role playing in the extreme, with hostile engagement between special forces, students, volunteers, civilian soldiers out of Fort Bragg. It begins August 30th, 2019. You know, we showed you that they were hiring crisis actors in this area a couple months ago. Well, this is what it's for. This is just like the Jade Helm exercises. You notice all the new military equipment coming out from DARPA and Raytheon and all these type places is all for civil warfare, all for urban warfare, underground warfare. And they're just showing the stuff. They're showing it to you right in your face, and people just can't get the message. Now, I know everybody that watches this show, they know what's going on. We know what's going on. Trying to wake up the masses is where it's not going quick enough. And there's a reason for that. And if I could find that article, I didn't get this in order. But check this out. This come out like a year ago, but officials investigating reason for over 4,000% rise in kids seeking sex change treatments. Now, this is reported out of the UK. Officials of the United States want to know why there's been an explosion in the number of kids seeking sex change treatments. Well, when you go down and read down into this article, they're saying transgenderism is a physiological disorder, not a biological one. And where else did it say? Well, what they were talking about is this is linked to IQ and all kinds of weird stuff. Well, what does the fluoridation do? We just reported on how fluoride is making the kids dumber. So here you go. It's all linking together. All the dots are connected. And this is from the fluoridation, or at least part of it. Not to mention the Common Core stuff in the schools and all that crazy stuff. And we had a crazy fish caught out of New York. This thing has 2 mouths. So pretty wild looking fish. I'm not going to play this because you know how they are. I'll just kind of scroll through it. This lady caught this fish with 2 mouths. This is on Lake Champlain. Anyway, pretty crazy stuff.
Pictures she then shared with coworker.
Them things always come on when you don't want them to. So we got all these mega articles now coming out on the fires when the fires have been burning for over a month. You know, they're calling this the final judgment is coming. Worst rainforest fires in history sees Brazil city fall dark. I went over this a little bit yesterday. But, you know, these fires go on every year. This one is pretty big, but it's not as big as the one yet anyway that happened in 2013. I think it was 2013. But mainstream media is not covering this stuff hardly at all. Just like the floods over the Midwest, they hardly covered it at all. They'll talk about, you know, the fires over in Russia. They don't talk about the fires in Alaska. They don't talk about news you need to know. They want to talk about, you know, the pedophile islands and stuff like that. You know, the Democrats, Republican nonsense. All the puppet stuff. They don't give you information that's going to help you plan for the future on the coming, you know, nuclear winter. You could call it a nuclear winter because with all these particles up in the air and the grand solar minimum, we are definitely going to start turning cold. You know, all this stuff in the atmosphere is going to block all the solar radiation coming in, trapping all the, you know, particulates in the sky. We got all these big dust storms coming. Volcanoes are going off everywhere. I mean, it's setting up for definitely a global catastrophe, and that's what they're going to use. They're going to use the weather warfare to bring on the New World Order. I mean, I've seen it coming, and we're seeing it play out every damn day. So yeah, the fires are going. Like I said, I went back and it's going on for way longer than what they're saying. The fire started a long time ago. You know, a lot of these saying, you know, nobody's talking about it. Like, we have to force, you know, if an alternative media site gets a viral video going out, then it forces the mainstream to cover this stuff. So the Greenpeace founder, the global warming hoax pushed by corrupt scientists are hooked on the government grants. Well, I'm sure that's it. It's always multifaceted. It's more than just that. You know, they're not going to be able to sell the global warming anymore because it's going to start cooling down. It's going to, you know, if this pattern does not change, we are going to be in for the worst winter in history. And that's no joke. Look at the floods that happen in the Midwest. The atmospheric rivers are being pulled, stretched, guided. And if it does not change, if the upper level winds do not change, well, we're in deep crap. I'm telling you right now. We were, I think back in November, we were calling for 500 or 600 inches of snow in California, and they end up getting like 800 inches. If nothing changes from right now, we will have no hurricanes this year on the East Coast. And we're going to get, thousands of inches of snow. It's going to be nuts. And we'll see. All these particulates in the air are definitely going to do something. Well, here's an article way back from the Washington Post, way back from October 22nd, 1989. The Soviet Union could launch a weather war against the United States because of the whimsy of weather patterns. Americans wouldn't even know it. I'm not blaming the weather warfare on Russia. It's all of them. They're all doing it. But this is a pretty good article from way back in the day. Let me try to get down where I was at here. The only country that has ever used weather as a weapon is the United States. From 1967 to 1972, the Pentagon conducted a $21.6 million rainmaking operation designed to make the trail slippery. Mistakes were made. 7 inches of rain was dumped on the U.S. Special Forces in 2 hours. We got 6 inches of rain in like 4 hours last night here in Missouri. My whole driveway is washed away. Our road is washed away. We've had rain bombs, and flooded all summer long. And this rain bomb we got last night was like unlike any of the other rain bombs. They're getting worse. So they have reviewed a dozen secret CIA agency reports about Soviet weather modification, research done in the last 3 decades. I'm trying to skip through a bunch of this stuff just so we can get down to the nitty gritty. The CIA is well aware the same techniques could be used to deliberately disrupt the climate of other countries. The Soviet belief that bigger is better is reflected on the weather plans, include a scheme to melt the Arctic ice and moderate temperatures in the northern Soviet republics. One civilian Soviet scientist told the CIA that he knew as many as 300 secret weather modification experiments done in the Arctic. One plan by an engineer was to pump water from the Atlantic to the Arctic Ocean, believed that all the ice in the Arctic Ocean would be melted within 3 years, never to return. This is part of a blueprint, was a dam across the Bering Strait. Remember the railroad that's going underground in this Bering Strait? We're seeing it now. So this article from back in 1989 is talking about what they're doing right now. The 3-year plan to melt the Arctic. It's already going. It's being done right now. Now, if you know China is the communist country, and you got to have a social credit score and all that crap. Well, they come up with this new camera, and if they got this camera, they got this camera in the United States. They got them up on the satellites. If you believe in the satellites, they're up there. But this thing, like a smartphone camera, is like 1 million pixels equals 12 megapixel camera. So this thing is putting out gigapixels, or 1 billion pixels per gigapixel. I mean, it's just crazy, but check this out. Now here is, hey, thanks out there, Carolyn. So here is the camera, and you can zoom, man, so we're way up here now. Look, you can just zoom. This is the one photo. I mean, this is crazy. Let's go down here. This is how they spot people with their cameras and their technology. This stuff's already here. But look how far you can zoom with this camera. You can see who the people are. You can do facial recognition from thousands of feet away. Like, this is like even better than a telescope. Like, we go up here and look in this building way up here. Like, this is crazy. You see the chemtrails up in the sky over China. But this is just a megapixel crazy camera. You know, the U.S. military has this. You know, they're watching everything you do in your yard. I mean, that's insane. So this is like gigapixels. I haven't even got to really look at this whole thing real good. I freaked out on how good it was. You know, when you do like the astrophotography and stuff like I do, man, you got to have the most sensitive cameras to get pictures of space. I mean, they got to be super sensitive. So when you see something like this, you know how badass of a camera this is. I'm just trying to see if I see any people over here working. See if we can zoom in. But yeah, man, crazy mega gigapixel camera. Like, wonder how far you can see over. Well, the farmers are still missing. I never got one email on the farmers. You know, it's a land grab. They are buying the farmers out. Look at that. Who would want to live in a city with all these buildings? Like, you get no grass, no wildlife, no trees. This is how they want everybody to live. They want you to live in these stack and pack mega cities. Screw that. You know, no oxygen being emitted from the trees. Just stack and pack house. I mean, insane. Wow, look, yeah, see, you can really zoom in on these people, man. Crazy. So you can bet they have this this camera set up somewhere, or several of them set up somewhere. But yeah, insane. Hey, thanks there, Teresa. Nice super chat there. Thanks to everybody that helps us, man, through the PO and D Live and all that stuff. You know, and YouTube's, it's the only channel that I have monetized. Like, when I live stream these, they're going through Facebook with no ads. I think they're going through Twitch with no ads. I could be wrong. I've never got anything from Twitch. But D Live, same thing. So yeah, that's a crazy camera here. I'll post this link in the description, right past the fire that I got there. Paste. Yeah, now I gotta watch what kind of links I put in. And I was gonna do a subscriber count every night, because my channel is just going backwards. It's bullshit. So now down in Australia, Victoria warned of summer blackout risk if the power supply doesn't improve. Hey, thanks there, Grumpy Troll. Hell, you're not grumpy. And you're not even a troll. But thanks, Grumpy. So more than 1 million Victorian households are at the risk of being without power this summer during extreme heat if coal and gas plants are not returned to service in time for peak periods, the energy market operator has warned. The forecast also predicts up to 770,000 homes will face a blackout risk on a day of extreme heat. The Little Lydale power plant has closed in 2023 through 24 if contingencies are not made. We're seeing the same thing in California. They already have pre-planned blackouts on some of the hottest days. So, you know, we pay oh man, where'd my radar go? So we pay all these power companies, we pay all these taxes. Our infrastructure sucks. Our power grid sucks. The cell phone systems suck. And they're purposely making the 3G, 4G suck. They want to make them so bad. Like, I couldn't even call my wife today, man. The sound was freaking out on my phone. Her phone was freaking out. It was just getting, I was so pissed off today. It was unbelievable. Yeah, they're definitely going to use, manipulation of everything, blame it on the climate, force in more laws, more freedoms are going to be took away. And here we are looking at the polar vortex winds. And what I'm noticing is, look, it's starting to weaken. We will not get a hurricane as long as these high level winds are just going to town right here. And let me show you last year at the same time, just to give you an idea of the winds. So we'll let that load. So here's what it looked like last year. The polar vortex pretty much looks almost exactly the same at this time of year last year. The only difference is we don't have this mega wind field around the equator. So let me put it back to now. Look at that wind field, but it is actually starting to die down. I can see it starting to get a little bit weaker. And then once that's gone, then we can start thinking about hurricanes. I notice the mainstream and even a lot of the alternative people are like, oh yeah, there's a tropical storm gonna form down here, maybe a hurricane. Every one of them's been wrong. Every single mainstream media has been wrong. We've called it just like it's been every time. The hurricanes are going to form over here. They're going to get blown straight across. They're going to get burned out. Just like the models in last Sunday night's forecast showed that hurricane going right up through the Bajas there. And I said, no way. There's no way it can get up there. And sure enough, it's not there. Now there's something I want to take a look at while we're here. We need to put this on the temperatures. We're getting ready to have a rapid heating event. And I can actually fast forward this up a couple days. And this is just like when they moved the polar vortex over the winter. Look at it. So look at that. We go up one more day. It's going to go up into the, when they move the polar vortex, it's got all the way up into the greens. Whoops. Let's see if I can go up one more day. Nope, that was it. So look, we're getting another rapid heating event. They're going to push this colder air off. So something is going on with that. So we have to keep our eyes on that, see what they're trying to do. Now, I believe they have complete control of the upper level winds, because everything going on is not natural, none of it. Let's go ahead and check our jet stream while we're here. So here we are again. The jet stream, we got one trough that's not even getting down below the Great Lakes. They just have the jet stream completely bypassing the southern United States. So you got all this wind flowing, the upper level winds are flowing really hard, right around the Leeward Islands, down through here. We'll put that back on there just so you can see them. So yeah, right over the, right through the middle between North America and South America. Drop down to the jet stream. So they're really, when you look at it like this, there's no way for a hurricane to form. We got the Bermuda high pressure out here. In fact, let's go ahead and check the pressures while we're here. So it's pretty much all high pressure, all high pressure. No hurricanes are going to form. Not even down here. Even where the water is extremely hot, Now I do see a change right here. We got a little bit of a trough right here, and the winds are actually flowing the right direction. You know, the wind should be flowing this way. Every storm we've had lately is going the backwards. Some of them were actually spinning clockwise. Let's see what the surface winds are doing. See, the surface winds are coming up. They're bringing that atmospheric river up. Got a little dry line right there. Let's go ahead and check the 3-hour precipitation forecast. I mean, we got rain bombs going across the midsection. Let's go ahead and take that up. Oh, we can't go up. That's weird. Oh yeah, we can go up a little bit. So up in the northeast, you got tons of rain. Midwest, here's your cyclone that's going to get blown apart by the Sahara dust. And then I want to check the energy. This is some of the energy that can create the storm. So it's way over here in the Gulf of Mexico, up over Colorado, that area. But everything's blowing too hard to the west. Let's go ahead and check the total precipitable water. This is just like the mimic map. You see the moisture is mixing in with the Sahara dust. But where's all the moisture at? It's right here. Everything is being pulled to here. It's just, it's not normal, man. None of this crap is normal. So it looks like our video output is low again. And right at 10 o'clock, it's like clockwork. All right, just checking the wave heights. Let's check our sea surface temperature and check on our anomaly. Hey, thanks out there, guys. Yeah, I wish I could see the chat, but yeah, I can never see it. Hey, thanks out there, Babu. All right, so look, our anomaly is still out there. And the water is actually cooled down a little bit here in the Gulf of Mexico. It's not the whole area now. You got a couple little spots around Florida, around the Bajas, and closer to the, like where everything is being pushed in, is pushing all that warmer water in because the winds are all going from east to west. So yeah, we still have our anomaly right here. Let's go ahead and check the sea surface temperature anomalies and see if it's growing. Yeah, it's hard to say if it's growing. Let's check the temperature there in the middle, which this temperature don't give me the actual surface temperature. That's actually starting to weaken there off the coast of California. But look, it's getting hotter up here in Alaska, just like the article we went over. So I still don't know what this is. To me, it's like they got a magnifying glass, like a space mirror, and they're beaming it on this one area. Just like having a magnifying glass trying to catch a leaf on fire. I mean, what could explain it? It took 9 days for this hot spot to form. And it's now at 89.6 degrees. 89.7. So weird. It's like the red spot on Jupiter, but now we got one. Nothing spinning around it. There's no volcanic flume. I don't know what it is. I think it's coming, some kind of atmospheric heater is heating it. And hopefully we'll dig out and figure it out. So it looks like we have more rain bombs expected for the midsection. Nebraska. Let's see where this, look at that storm fire off down there in the Bajas, and pretty see if they're turning the moisture off in Arizona. No, it looks like you might be getting a little bit of light. Nope, they're killing it off. Maybe you might get some rain right there. We'll have to look at the rain. These are just the cloud tops. These are not the actual moisture. All right, let me put this on that. Let's go ahead and check just the models for just the next day or two. Oh yeah, and if you look, you know, I checked out the bunker fuel operations and they're gone. That makes 3 days in a row that they're not really sticking out. But where they are sticking out is down here where the fires are. Isn't that strange? You think that's a coincidence? We have a X out here of bunker fuel. No coincidence. We seen the same thing before the Paradise Fires. Mass bunker fuel operation. And that's what we're looking for. You know we got some wind coming in over here in California over the next couple weeks. So when they start letting loose of the bunker fuel again, that's when we got to start watching for the fires. They're still spraying heavy up here in Alaska, just big time dumps over Alaska, right over the Bering Strait, right where they said they wanted to do the weather modification back down in 1989. Look, they're doing it right now. This is what they were talking about. This is a weather weapon. And one thing I noticed is the aerosols that they're deploying tonight and Monday are the migraine giving aerosols. Like I have such a bad headache right now. It's unbelievable. It's the same damn headache I had Monday when they were deploying the same kind of spray. So we have multiple aerosol deployments all over the north, all over Canada, all above Canada, all the way over into Greenland and around Greenland. Spraying over Saskatchewan, over Alberta, all over Oregon, North California, everywhere. We got fires going in Arizona. We can see them. And of course, they're just spraying the crap out of this storm that hit us. And you're going to see that this storm is so electrified. It's so full of nanoparticulates. Same up here in the north. Still spraying out ahead of every single storm. Yeah, I had a super migraine Monday when they were spraying, and now I got a super migraine today. The back of the neck. It's nothing to do with the pressures. It's the mix that they're using. Yeah, heavy aerosols in the northeast. They're just getting waxed up there. Tons of spraying over Oregon, off the coast of California, all over Nevada. That's a big time spraying op. We got to zoom in on that. Let me get off that. Anyway, hopefully the stream is running a little better tonight. I haven't been able to look over really and monitor it. But yeah, man, I've been having some horrible luck with not just the computer, my laptop, my phones. All right, so watch this operation once this thing loads here. Let me stop that for a minute and do it by hand. I must be zoomed in a little bit here. There we go. Now I can reach the slider. So you have initial spray, Southern California, Southern Nevada, and then here's the other next big spray, complete grid patterns. That same spraying operation goes right into Arizona. They're spraying all out ahead of this. And then look, here's the next big time spraying operation over Nevada, California. These are targeted sprays. I really could zoom in on that one more time. Check out the Northern California and Nevada. Wow, not even buffering, huh? That's pretty crazy. Yeah, they definitely targeted everything I had. They targeted my internet service provider, my cell phone, my wife's cell phone, the laptop. Like, I was really getting frustrated today. And my phone has never sounded like that video I put out earlier. I was like, what in the heck is that? It sounded like I was on a phone call. That was like the weirdest thing ever. Look at all these guys. Segmented sprays, super grid, short segmented sprays. That usually means rain. Then you got the long liners all through here. But see, these are not water vapor. These are, look at that, off and on spraying. Off and on spraying, super long lines. Looks like the Monster Energy drink symbols with the chemtrails. Super thick. Look at them. They're just growing. All this is fake, synthetic, man-made clouds. You can't deny this. Look at that X. That's huge. And they just kept targeting the same area. Look at that. Another big X flying through there. That's major spraying operation. Look, they just keep coming. Look at these thick. These are rockets or some shit. Looks like a 90-degree turn. This is just insane right here. Wow, look at that. That is one hell of a bombardment for Northern California. Look, they're getting ready for the fires. That's right over the forest. Right over Paradise, Redding, California, all the way up into Oregon. That is insane. So you're going to tell me there's only water vapor right there? Everybody should go to the gym and work out. We need to be physically prepared, mentally prepared. You know, they're gonna pull something off, whether it's a weather program or they're gonna, drop a tsunami bomb out in the ocean, create a tidal. Who knows what they're gonna do, but they're gonna do something. I don't know when. With the 2020 election coming up, things are gonna ramp up so hard. Pushing for this gun control, pushing for this, pushing for that. We want your rights. And I'm not willing to give them up. They already have too many of our rights. It ends now. Anyway, guys, look at that. Hopefully that's coming in for you. Could be the earthquake. We got the big earthquake shakeout is going to go on in October again here in Missouri. Anyway, guys, we're going to go ahead and call this a show since we actually got the show off. But much love out there. Thanks everybody that helps us out, helps us keep this going. We're hoping to build a website soon. Thanks everybody out there. Let's see here, the super chat. We got Carolyn Ruckman. Thanks. Solar King, thanks. Teresa, Grumpy Troll, Cynthia, Mike, Packway. Much love to all you guys, and much love to everybody out there that shares this stuff. Anyway, guys, lock and load, armor up, no fear, eyes to the sky, because this is what's going down right here. You can't deny that. Anybody with common sense could see this is not water vapor. It's turning into a weather system. Even if you did call this water vapor, we have a serious problem with planes causing water vapor. Anyway, guys, much love. We'll see you tomorrow night. God willing. Be safe out there, all. Here we go. Let's rise. Let's play the song Rise. 100% sure this video will be demonetized. Anyway, here we go. Much love.
We've had a lot of cases where we were seeding storms that had no business being seeded. We were just kind of throwing darts, and we were seeing responses in some of those. So we are learning that maybe there's more opportunity with some of these. Maybe we don't even need to have a rain cloud. We could go work cumulocongested clouds that aren't really precipitating yet. And if it has inflow, maybe we could get something to work. Year one, we had the air tractor that the USDA provided, so dosaging was a lot better. We were getting about 40 to 45 gallons per cloud. That aircraft wasn't available in year two, so we took one of our Comanches and converted it.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. I'm George Bomar, Weather Modification Program Specialist in the Office of Innovation and Project Management. Since our last meeting in November, we have had completed the radar-derived assessment of cloud seeding operations done in Texas during 2018. That study is done on an annual basis by Dr. Ruiz out of Texas Tech University. That report just arrived, so it's not loaded on your desktop computer, but I did make a paper copy for you, and I'd like to just point out a number of features of that annual evaluation report. 5 of the cloud seeding projects that are conducted for rain enhancement purposes, 4 of those are included in this assessment. The projects based in White Deer, San Angelo, Pecos, and Pleasanton. In 2018, there were a total of 262 clouds seeded. On 87 distinct days, we had at least one aircraft in the air seeding in order to enhance the output from young thunderstorms. And I'm going to just refer to a few really significant numbers that are in this report and compare them with the long-term average. Dr. Ruiz has been doing this assessment for a number of years, and as you know, his evaluation is based upon looking at systems, cloud cells, that are seeded and comparing them with the behavior of adjacent convective cells that are not seeded. So it's a target versus control area comparison. And when you do this over a number of years, you pretty much establish what's normal, and you can then identify what appears to be abnormal. Last year, the season didn't last as long as the typical season of 160 days. The start was later than usual, May 2nd, and the last day of operations was in September on the 19th. As we know from year to year, Mother Nature throws us a different hand, and there just wasn't any seedable convection early in the storm season of 2018. Over half of all of the storms that were seeded were single cell convective storms, 140 to be exact. And I like to look at the numbers of the single cell storms seeded because using Titan, I believe the numbers that